Hare Krishna, Namaste, Chapter 10, entitled as Vibhuti Yoga. Sloka 3, Part 2. Yo mam ajam anādiṁ ca vetti loka-maheśvaram asammūḍhaḥ martyeṣu sarva-pāpaiḥ pramucyate. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the Supreme Lord of all the world, he only, undeluded among men, is freed from all sins. In the sloka, Krishna says, if a person understands him in the manner that he explains in this third sloka, the person will be free from the sins and the obstacles in the path of bhakti, and then this person will be able to swiftly progress in Krishna consciousness. In the previous session, we saw that the entire creation is classified into two entities. One is achit, another one is chit, meaning one is non-sentient, another one is sentient being. The non-sentient has the sarva-pāpaiḥ, meaning it goes through the changes, the appearance changes from one form to another form, whereas the living entity, the Atma, doesn't go through physical changes, but they do go through a change called svabhava-vikara, meaning their nature changes based on the body that they take due to the karma and vasanas. Whereas the Supreme Lord does not go through swabhava or swarupa-vikara. Therefore, he is aloof, he is distinct, he is higher than this chit and achit. For those who are interested to know further deeper differences between the creator and the created, that is Ishvara, Chit and Achit, please refer to chapter 5, sloka 7, part 8. There we have discussed about sajhatiya bheda, vijhatiya bheda, swagata bheda, that is intra-differences, inter-differences and qualitative differences. To save time, we will not repeat that over here. Now let's understand these three main points that Krishna mentions here: ajaha, anādiṁ, loka-maheśvaram. Ajaha means unborn, never born. The non-sentient entities, which are achit, undergo modification, and hence it is obvious they are subject to birth. Birth means leaving a particular state and taking another form, that is birth. Leaving a current state of form is called death or destruction. Since the material things goes through constant continuous modification, changes, they cannot be called as aja. Now baddhatmas, or the living entities, which is called conditioned living entities, it is us, we are all conditioned, bound in samsara in this material pool are subject to birth due to our karmas. Whereas the Lord is ajam, meaning unborn. He is not subjected to birth of this kind. Therefore, he is ajah, or one who is unborn. Since he doesn't go through the modification, changes, since he doesn't take different bodies, he is totally different from achit and chit. One might ask a question, then how come he is known as son of Devaki if he is unborn? So Prabhupada explains that in his purport, that he appeared before Devaki and Vasudeva, even before he was born. He was not born as an ordinary child. He appeared in his original form and then he transformed into a child. As conditioned souls, we don't have choice to choose our parents, whereas Krishna does. He chooses his parents. We are born because of our karma-dina, because of our karmas. Whereas the Lord appears because of kripa-dina, because of his mercy, causeless mercy. We take birth by getting a material body. Therefore, our self as Atma and body are two different entities. When the Lord appears, there is no difference between him and his form. It's one and the same. It is transcendental. Therefore, the Shastra says that ajanamano bahuda vijayate, meaning one who is unborn is born several times in different forms. Since he is not born like us, he is unborn. The next point is anādiṁ ajam, birthless without a beginning. It is different from ajam. From ajam, we understood that he is not born, is unborn. Maybe a question might come that he is unborn now. Maybe at one point he must have been born at some starting point. Therefore, the second point says here that anādiṁ ajam, he exists without being born at any time. What is the purpose of Krishna mentioning that here, anādiṁ? So far what we saw is Baddhatma, the conditioned living entity, which is all of us. We take birth, we dwindle here, we die and take birth again, and this cycle keeps repeating. Within the category of Chit, there's another classification called Muktatma. Muktatma are those who are liberated from the samsara, from the material world, and attain the spiritual world. At one point, they were conditioned like us, Baddhatma, but then they got liberated by perfecting themselves by the grace of the Lord, and they have attained the spiritual kingdom. Therefore, one may say that the Muktatma are also ajaha, they are also unborn. It is true, but it is not true that they are anādiṁ, beginningless. At one point, prior to attaining liberation, this Atma would have undergone many births like we do. Hence, he cannot be said to be ever birthless. that is birthless without a beginning, is birthlessness as a commencement. But this does not apply to Krishna. He is birthless without a beginning. That's what it means by anādiṁ ajam. After attaining mukti, liberation, even the muktātma doesn't have the swarupa and swabhava vikara. At one point, we should know that they did have these differences. Whereas Lord all the time is free from these differences. The muktātma, until before liberation, was taking several births and was going through these changes. Therefore, muktātma had a beginning, where the Lord is beginningless, anādiṁ. Not only that, there are chances that these muktātma may be born again. Though theoretically, technically speaking, that will not happen, because the Lord has guaranteed and taken sankalpa that anyone who comes to his abode will not fall down again into the material pool. But we should know that these muktātmas are in the liberated state by the grace of the Lord, not because of their power. So they are completely depending on Lord's mercy, even in the spiritual world. Whereas the Lord, the Supreme Lord, is not depending on someone's mercy to be in the spiritual world. So that's the difference we need to note between Ishvara and Muktātma, the liberated soul, and the Supreme Lord. In this way, what we have seen is the Lord is different from matter, and the Lord is different from the conditioned soul, and the Lord is different from the liberated souls. What left to be seen in the sloka is loka-maheśvaram. Let's see this in our next session. Yo mam ajam anādiṁ ca vetti loka-maheśvaram asammūḍhaḥ martyeṣu sarva-pāpaiḥ pramucyate. Namaste. Hare Krishna.